Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell. Welcome to a beautiful day here in Moscow. I'm going to take you for a walk today along the Moskva River and down towards Gorky Park. Let's go. My starting point for this walk is actually the park next to Gorky Park. It's called Museum Park, and a very beautiful park in itself. However, most people know the famous Gorky Park. They've got all the flowers in season right now. Off in the distance is the statue of Peter the Great, and of course the world famous Moskva River. You can just see one of the buildings that make up the Kremlin in the distance. It's about a 30-minute walk from here. If you want to walk to Red Square and the Kremlin. However, we want to walk further along the river in this direction, and we might catch a little bit of the sunset, particularly as I get a little bit further along. This walk is something I've done, I'm going to say, thousands of times before. It never gets old, and it's just something nice to do on a afternoon in Moscow. And I'll point out a few things as we go along. By the way, these are all real flowers. Someone spends the time to come and plant all of these. It's really a lot of work to do this, the entire length of the park, and it's just stunning when it all blooms at the same time now in summer. What a lot of people do when they're doing this walk, generally they'll have a starting point, so perhaps one metro station in the distance, maybe somewhere around the Red Square, and then make your way through Museum Park to Gorky Park, and then get the metro home from a nearby station here. So you can kind of walk from one point to the other. Probably takes about an hour if you really just take your time. We've got some tables and chairs out, and it's definitely riverboat season right now. You can actually see probably the most famous one here, the Radisson, going right by. This is the one that a lot of people like to do. You can have like lunch or dinner on board, and there's kind of endless boats running up and down the river today. Different types of boats and different sizes. Really just depends on your budget, what you want to do. You can actually go on the cheapest one, which is only 99 rubles, and you can do a river trip for just over $1 or €1, and you get to see the amazing architecture of Moscow. So this park actually stretches quite a few kilometers further along in the distance. It's quite unknown to a lot of tourists. If you come to Moscow, you just know Gorky Park, and that's pretty much it. And this is only a few minutes walk away. Now I always get the name of this place wrong. The Tretyakov Gallery. I'm fairly sure that's the right name for it. And you've got this water fountain here that the kids love to run around in. And especially today when it's a very warm day, you can cool off. As part of the Summer in Moscow events, they actually set up quite a few different things. And they've got an ice cream parlor here, and you can get yourself an ice cream or a cold drink. And as I've been standing here preparing my camera, it's very popular. Lots of people coming in, grabbing something. I will say today it's rather warm walking around. Actually, the temperature today, I think, maxed out at 29 Celsius, which for Moscow is very warm. And it's kind of a opposite to winter when we can get to minus 25. So it's two different places, not more than 5 or 6 months apart. I intentionally wanted to come a little bit later in the day today and hopefully catch a little bit of a sunset. I'm not sure how it's going to be. It always end up going behind the trees just here. You can see a couple more of the riverboats going along, and then the Radisson one. They've got quite a few. I think they've got about 10 or 12 in their fleet. than these other companies, and you can just book them online, or you can turn up at the pier. It's fairly easy to go on a trip on them. Where I started my walk was on the other side of the Krymsky bridge, and that's Park Kultury metro station, or the Park of Culture. And then have a look. You've got some more flowers here. Wow, this is a lot to take in. And most people who arrive here will come by the metro. You can come by bus as well. There is very limited parking, and it's really not worth kind of bringing your car into the city and struggling to find a spot. Get off at the metro, go for one lap around, and then find an end point and get on the metro and go home. It's so incredible to think of the amount of flowers that they've had to kind of grow and prepare and have them all come into season at the same time. As always, I'll give you that early warning that perhaps the video might be a little bit long, and this is the kind of content that I do. It's long form videos, so if you want to skip ahead to another point, or maybe watch this later and save it in your playlist of videos to watch, and you can enjoy this walk together with me at another point. Otherwise, grab yourself a cup of tea and a biscuit and just relax. You can actually see all the people walking over the bridge, and pretty much everyone will be coming to or from the metro station. It's just on the opposite side, about 5 minutes walk from where I'm standing, and another boat going under the bridge right there. And then slowly the sun is heading behind the buildings. Now, for anyone who's been to Gorky Park, I will say in the last 10 or 20 years, this part might be recognizable because it might be the place where you start your walk from. The main entrance is about another 10 minutes further down the street. However, last year it underwent a lot of remodeling and renovations, and they built a whole series of different buildings, and they've converted them into cafes, restaurants, some takeaways, and all sorts of different kind of eateries. And the good thing is they've got some of the more normal takeaway places mixed in with high-end cafes. Now what I want you to do as I'm walking through here is just have a look at how people are dressed, how people are acting, and how I think normal this is, and how normal places can be when you have a, I'm going to say, very typical community of people who embrace summertime, they embrace the city they live in, they take advantage of the different things that the government does and initiatives like building these different structures. Now, it's probably hard to tell what we're looking at here, but actually the building is meant to resemble a ship or a riverboat, and you can actually go up to the top level. I think we'll go up there because it's a pretty cool view, and there's a mixture of different cafes that you can go in, and interestingly there's a subway right here. I think they've got it now called, is it SBW it's called. There's a few people in there. It was never really very popular in Russia compared to other Western fast food places. Now, if you go back 5 years ago, this entire area here was just a bitumen pavement, and it was pretty much open to everybody. But this was the whole intention with Gorky Park, that anybody could come, they could do whatever they like, they could enjoy the park however they want to. So if you want to just do a walk like I'm doing, or if you want to ride your bike, your skateboard, or whatever you like, it's very easy to do that. Now check out these planter boxes. Now this opened up only, I'll say, less than a year ago now, so not all the plants have fully grown yet, but this planter box is made up of huge shards of glass, if that makes sense. I'm pretty sure it does. It's pretty impressive. We'll keep walking along. So what I ultimately want to do is get to the end of the walkway and see the people dancing, because that's a very popular thing to do here in Gorky Park. And then also have a walk by the river. So there is a little bit of an open area where you can walk down almost to the river's edge. A lot of people here today, for obvious reasons. Well, we've got good weather. When they built all of these different structures, they had the intention of having them as viewing points, but I think most people don't realize that you can go up the stairs and go up to the roof of these buildings and get the ultimate view of Gorky Park. So let's go on up there. Have a look. They've got Made in Bali. Made in Bali. How cool is that? It's not made in Bali, it's Made in Bali. I think this gives you a good idea of how many people do or don't know about this spot here. And there's a whole of 10 people up here. I imagine at some point they'll open something just there. I just made up a lot of steps. And the bridge looking back towards Moscow city. You can just see the towers of some of the skyscrapers in the background. And then actually on the other building, I think they've got maybe an event going on, it looks like. Pretty sure you can maybe host things here. That's the Ministry of Defense building in the distance. Can you imagine living in these apartments on the other side of the river and the view you have on a daily basis? It's incredible. For anybody who lives in Moscow, I'm sure at some point you've been to Gorky Park. And if you haven't been in the last 12 months or so, I would heavily recommend coming down here. Now, some people may or may not like these structures. I think it definitely adds to the entire place. The fact that they've got some restaurants and places to buy a drink or ice cream or have something to eat. There's a couple more people over this side, but I feel like this is one of the secrets of Gorky Park. He's been able to come up here and have this free view of Moscow and the Moskva River, which is just so iconic and famous. But we'll keep walking along the river in just a minute. I didn't walk in all these areas on this upstairs level myself, so I think I need to explore it. They do actually have a lift to come up here as well, which is nice. So people want to come on the upstairs levels, they can. Oh, the boat's here. Obviously the sunset time is the most popular time to come. The ladies here taking some photos. And just this view of everybody coming and enjoying the evening. I think the one positive thing that's happened from building all these different businesses and buildings is it gives people more of a reason to come here than just walk from one end to the other. So you've got coffee shop, restaurant, cafe, and then I think some kind of event space on the upper level. Then I just noticed over here, check this out, they've got pool tables. So you can have something to eat, play some pool. There's a bar. It's really not what you expect in Gorky Park, and just so interesting. I think we can get one more glimpse of the sun as it sets right behind Moscow city in the distance, and then all the riverboats here. Hopefully a little bit of a red sky tonight. We'll see slowly as we keep walking. Surf Coffee is a chain of coffee shops that's in Moscow. I think they're in other cities as well. So their main part of it is downstairs, where you can get your drink from, and then, sorry, you can come on upstairs here, and they've got almost like a co-working space in Gorky Park. So you can, I'm not sure, pretend you're working and just have a look. So they've left their phone, they've left their computer, maybe they went off somewhere, but there's no worries. Just look at the view though. Holy smoke. Talk about a nice place to work if you can work remotely. I just want to show you for a minute one of the businesses here, and what they decided to do when they were leasing out all these places, they wanted to show a mix of different cafes, shops, and allow anybody, pretty much with any budget, to come and get a drink, get something to eat. So this is Perikostok Select, which is one of the chains of supermarkets in Russia. And pretty much everything they've got in here is what's in their traditional supermarket, but it's in a mini form. Now, the one thing you'll notice is it's self-checkout. So there's no registers. Apart from the lady making coffees, there's nobody that you can pay with. So it's all basically grab something to eat or drink and pay and walk out the door. And that's it. Now, how normal is it? A bottle of water for 58 rubles. So that's around about 70 or 80 cents if you want a bottle of water. Now we're in a metropolis city, and you'd think $3 or $4 for a bottle of water, but no, normal prices. And then if you want to get a coffee, it's a little bit warm for me for coffee today, but lots of people grabbing one. I think it's really nice that they've not decided to put some high-end supermarket or a kind of shop where they're charging exorbitant prices for a drink. And actually in there you could also get sandwiches, any of their ready foods. And then they've got Kuzny Itochka, which is the Russian McDonald's. Now I've actually done a separate video about this place when it first opened, and it's gonna always have people in there, no matter what time of day that you come. So if you're coming kind of now when it's at its busiest, you might have to wait a little bit. But there's plenty of tables in there, and normal prices again. So if you don't want to go to somewhere fancier, you don't have to. It's the amount of people around. Now I will say, Moscow as a city is one of the greenest cities in the world. And this is just one park. And I'll say a lot of people who live on the outskirts of Moscow like I do won't necessarily come here for a walk because it's about an hour from where I live to come here. So it's not convenient or walking distance or reasonably close to where I live. However, I can go to a park 10 minutes from my house and have trees and woods, coffee shop there, playgrounds for kids. I've always got something going on here as well, and I never know the schedule very well. Should always look it up before I come down here. Have a look at this covered walkway. So this is intended really for winter time, to allow people to walk through here when it's snowing or, I'm not sure, maybe raining at some point. The other part I wanted to walk along was just here where they've got the river's edge. No handrails, nothing to grab if you take the wrong step. And they've got lots of seating here. And I think most people grabbing something to eat or drink, and then we're watching the sunset behind the buildings. Where they've got all these plants and flowers that they've set up. And this very nice terrace. Is that what it's called? The seats. Now I did ask my wife if she wanted to come today, and she said no. She was happy to stay at home. And I wonder how many of these men are happy that they got dragged along to the park today. Or maybe the ladies decided to come and the men are at home. It's a great spot, I will say. Now, where you live, would they require the handrails and the barriers or not? Let me know. But here I think there's a bit of sensibleness to everybody, and there's no worries with the edge of the river being so close. You can see everybody up on that upstairs terrace where we walked a little bit earlier. So a few people know about it, but I still think it's one of the secrets of Gorky Park to go up there. This whole way down, all the seats are taken. And if there was some event going on the river, you'd have the best seats in the house. But I think maybe just looking out at the water, having a look at the buildings, the river cruisers going by. There's all sorts of different versions of them as well. It's pretty neat. Now I will say the walk that I'm doing, you could easily do in 1 hour. Now I'm walking a little bit slower. I want everybody to let me know in the comments, what would you be doing? Would you want to be on one of the boats and the tunes playing? I don't think you can quite hear them, but there's a bit of a DJ on the one going down the river now. Would you be just going for a walk along the Moskva River and enjoying the evening? Maybe you'd come and read a book. Maybe you'd come with a friend and just hang out. Let me know what your preferred thing would be. Or would you probably be just at home watching TV? I think the first few are my preference. But let me know how you'd spend your afternoon if you were in Moscow like this. Now we've got a lot of parks to choose from and a lot of places to go to, and I think this is worth visiting at least once when you're here in the city. I will say, just looking back at these buildings, they do fit in with the surroundings, and that intentional design that's meant to look like a boat or a ship is recognizable if you kind of spend a few minutes looking. I'm not sure everyone will agree with me. Now I just want to show you this map over here because this is super interesting. It's this is showing all of the embankment where we're walking right now. We started out on the other side of the river, or the other side of the bridge just here, sorry. However, they've got some cruise ships here. So these are meant to be riverboats. But that's the funnel of Carnival Cruise Line on this boat just here, or ship. It's so interesting that it's here in Moscow. They've also set up an eat market just here as well. It's kind of the name for a food court in Russia. I think it's about 10 different places in there. They did used to have these set up on the other side of the park, and I think they've just moved them all over here just to centralize them together. And you've just got endless choices then of things that you can have to eat. As you can just see here now, one of the Radisson boats. It looks like maybe they're going to go on the dinner cruise at some point. They've got all the tables set inside. Maybe they're about to leave. All the staff are outside taking a quick break. We're going to slowly make our way towards the dance floors in just a minute. One more thing I just want to point out as lots of people are going by is they've got these very neat, I'm not sure what they would call them, statues or this stone carvings. I'm not sure what this would be called. But of course the dancing plays a big part of Gorky Park. And then this last part of all the buildings is meant to resemble the bow of a ship, or the forward part of the ship. Now it does look like one, but maybe a lot of people don't notice it as they walk by. And what they put here is a 2-level Rostix. And Rostix is better known as the Russian replacement for KFC. And this place also will do very well with people who don't want to go to one of the premium restaurants, don't want to go to the fancy restaurants and places to dine. And you can just go in there, grab a drink, grab something to eat, and pay normal prices. And you're still in Gorky Park. It's all the self-checkouts there, and then in that kitchen they'll be working overtime right now. Once I finished this video, I'm actually going to walk across the Andreevsky Bridge just here, and the metro station's about another 5 minutes walk past once you get on the other side of the river. And then we get our first glimpse of some dancing. Now, along this boardwalk here, there's different levels of dancing that you can get involved in. As we see, the Ministry of Defense building switched its lights on. And I think this one down here, they've got a couple of teachers that you can follow along with. This one's a little bit more slower paced. Someone's brought some watermelon, which is nice as well. Arbuz. And dancing in Gorky Park. Is there anything any better? Have a look at the lights on the bridge from this side now. And they've got another dance troupe. Is that what it's called? A group of dancers? A troupe of dancers? I think it might be. Looks like they're doing some kind of a folk dance where they're in couples, but then they switch partners at some point, and I'm sure they know what they're doing, or at least they're learning it very quickly. But you can come along here and just join in and choose your level of dancing abilities. And where you've got things like this where it's kind of boy-girl style, they'll couple you up and it's not a problem to learn something new. I think this part's probably the busiest one. And which one are you? Are you on the balcony watching? Or are you wanting to get involved? Let me know. I definitely think the more popular songs are when they've got the different merengue and salsa and bachata music playing, because everybody's up dancing the whole way around. There's only a few people outside the circle. And again, still ladies looking for partners, and maybe the odd guy, but mostly ladies outnumber the men here in a big number. I think for the end of the video, it's only appropriate I come down to the dance floor. Hopefully YouTube is going to be nice and friendly with me, and it doesn't know what the heck song is playing in the background. I'm so sorry for talking over this. However, it's a pretty unique thing. This is held only in summertime. Just imagine here, 5 months from now, snow and -20. There's not going to be anybody dancing. And then on a balmy evening in Moscow, 29 degrees today. Everybody's come out in the evening now to just enjoy this evening. And again, lots of ladies looking for partners, and the odd man wandering around. But it's just interesting, the dynamic of this. And two ladies are right here looking for someone to dance. Men, get on the plane to Moscow and they'll be right here. I really hope in other cities around the world it's exactly like it is in Moscow. What you've seen today is every day of the year. Obviously, weather permitting, you can come here in winter. I walked around here and felt like I was the only person in the park. And then on a night like tonight, where naturally there's more people, and I would say 95% of people here don't know each other and are just coming for that social atmosphere and being able to dance and enjoy Moscow and Gorky Park. As we come to the end of the video, I hope this was an interesting walk around Gorky Park and back at the beginning in Muzon Park. The secret word has to be dancing or dancer, and somehow if you can get that in the comments, I know you've made it to the end. If you like the video, thumbs up. Let me know in the comments, would you be dancing? Would you be walking? Would you be enjoying the river? I'm sure one of them is to your liking. Or would you be at home like my wife tonight and she didn't want to join me for a walk in the world famous Gorky Park? Can you imagine that you can't convince someone to come for a walk here? No worries. She was working for the good part of today and she has to work in the morning again, so she's okay to not come out on a walking excursion with me. So thanks everybody. I think the easiest thing is to put another video for you to watch right here, and you can click this and I'll try and put one of the winter in Gorky Park videos for you, and you can keep traveling with Russell. Okay everybody, I'm off on another adventure. Bye.